Arkansas. Today's video is mostly about fast harvesting, and I mean fast harvesting. You can see here I've got a couple microgreens that I've grown, and after I show the harvest, we're going to do it a little bit backwards this time. After I show the harvest, I'll show you the entire grow, and this is a mix. But for now, we're starting off with the harvest. I've got my rack, my grow rack, inside a tub. Normally I would put a bigger tote, normally I'd use a bigger tote. It's just that my bigger one's being used right now. And I've got the two batches here, and the reason why I've got two is because I grew two to show you how quick it is to harvest. So that's what we're going to do first. I've got paper towels, and I'll show you why I've got those. And I got an electric knife. We're going to make this super fast. So the first thing I want to do to get it to this point right here is we want to take the microgreens out of the 1020 tray, and we want to take a couple paper towels and we want to wipe the moisture off of this. Now I've already taken it out and let it drain sideways for a little while, and then I took and put a couple paper towels on here and got most of the wetness out, and you can see here that that's already done. So that's the point of the paper towels. You just take a couple strips off and you dry it off. Not really dry, but you get the point. Okay, so I'm going to set this aside for just a minute, and I'm going to move this into the photo, into the center, more of a center. And obviously you probably can't see my face right now, but I've got the electric knife, and what I'm going to do now is just demonstrate harvesting. Alright, that's one. Real time. That's what it looks like harvested. We'll put that aside. We'll get the other one. We'll put it in the tray. And by the way I grow, you can't do this with soil because you can't put it upside down and shake it like this. So that's one of the unique things about my style of growing, is what you can do when microgreens are grown like this. No soil, hydroponically, no cocoa coir, no anything. Alright, so for rapid, this is kind of fun. Alright, that's it. We are done harvesting. We got the second tray. We'll put it aside. If you go a little slower, you can get a bit more. But because of the way I grow it in a blackout, a little bit longer. And what that does is it makes for a little longer stem. Now also, because I grew radishes in this mix, they're just the fastest growing thing ever, and they shot up. And I don't know why people put radish in a blend of any kind, because it absolutely overtakes everything. But I did it, and this is what I got. And you can see from the tote here, there's a little bit more here. I did wipe this outdoor furniture down a little bit, but you can see from this tote here, loosely, that's nearly half full. But I'm going to take it in, I'm going to get a weight on it, and then after I get a weight on it, we'll divide it by 2, and that's approximately what each tray weighed. And then I'll take you the entire grow. Okay, I was trying to think of the best way to weigh this, and this is what I come up with. So I've taken the microgreens and I put them in 2 wall whatever type bags here. I'm going to move those aside. That's all the microgreens that were in there. Then I'm going to take the cup and the top here and weigh it similar to the way I weigh microgreens, just on a little bigger scale. Let me show you what I'm going to do. Turn the scale on. Put the cup on here. Now this cup serves to raise or elevate this top so we can still see the actual weight on the scale. This is tricky because it's such a small footprint. Alright, so now I'm going to zero it out. So now anything that goes into it is nothing but microgreens. I'm checking to see if you can see it. Okay, so it says zero. It's kind of fluctuating. That's because the wind's moving it just a little bit. Okay, so I'm going to dump the microgreens in here now, holding it as I do, so that it doesn't fall over. And there's probably a few microgreens in there, but we don't have to be super precise, do we? Okay, how about that? That's 1,275 grams. Can you see that? Yeah, I think you can. I don't know if the video will come clear enough, but it's, okay, it's 1,278 grams now. Let's go to ounces. That's 45.1 ounces. So half of that is what each tray measured, and that's just a, you know, a rough guess. So total for 2 trays, 45.1 ounces. That's great. I'm going to do another grow, Brenton Central, Arkansas, guys. I've got some older seed here. I bought Broccoli and Friends mix. Actually, this was a mistake. They sent it to me by mistake, but I never used it. But it's got broccoli, clover, crimson clover. It says on the site, doesn't say on the label here, but red radish of some sort, and alfalfa. And the date on this is June of 18, so it's an older seed. I need to start growing it. I've never grown alfalfa or clover, so this will check that out. I've also got a little bit left of Rambo radish, and it's pretty old as well. What do I got here? September of 2018. And then I've got some red Russian kale. I've grown this recently, but it's also June of 18 seed. So I'm going to add not all this red Russian kale, but about half of it to this Broccoli and Friends. I put it in a heavier duty bag here, and I'm going to add this radish. What I'm attempting to do is make it more colorful grow of a bunch of different types. Here's the updated mix. It's hard to write on the bag once it's full of seed, so it's sloppy. And I know I misspelled alfalfa. I thought I knew. It's A-L-F-A-L-F-A. Anyway, we're going to give this a grow. I'm going to probably go with 40 grams of seed. I got 40 grams of the mix. First thing we need to do is spray it with my preventative antifungal. Get nice and wet. What this does is it allows the seeds to stick, and it coats the bottom to start the germination process. The germination process. So I'm going to take this seed, and it's a pretty mix, isn't it? I'm going to spread it across the screen evenly. Did I say this is 50 grams? Have to be absolutely perfect. And the last thing I'm going to do is I'm going to spray it with the antifungal on the top. And we're going to put a cover on. And what this will do is trap the moisture in, and it'll help germinate the seed and keep it in the dark, right exactly how I want it. And this cover weighs right at 4 pounds. There's uneven germination, And when you have so many different varieties, different types and varieties of plants, you're likely to have that, of course. That is a big difference in one day. It lifted that thing up a lot. Very, very cool. I'm going to take the cover off now and get rid of the seeds that are attached. We'll put it on the blackout dome for another day or two. And I'll bring it back. Taking the dome off today. It's a very good looking grow, and the reason why they're uneven is because there's several different varieties in there. A lot of different varieties. The radish tend to be really aggressive, and that's probably the ones that are the tallest. And I think there's two different kinds of radish in there. But I hope they catch up and even out a bit more. Now, they're getting quite large, and I normally harvest them now, but this is a variety mix. And you'll notice, you may have noticed that some of the smaller ones, the brassicas for example, like the broccoli, and who knows what other ones that I'm not familiar with, like alfalfa and clover, how they're growing in there. But what's happening is they're beginning to get the same height as the radish. The radishes are the big cotyledons, the bigger leaf ones here, like this. But I want them to grow and become closer to the same size, so we're going to let it keep going. We will key again on the growing of the first true leaf, but even a little bit of true leaf in this situation isn't going to hurt anything, so we're going to keep growing.